Good, y'all. It's your boy Ross back at again with another video. So we got to talk about what happened on Saturday night's main event tonight. And not gonna lie to you, it was a pretty solid show. There was a things on this show that I thoroughly enjoyed. Probably the biggest criticism I have for this particular show, and I think I had the same criticism last time, is the fact that the commercial breaks be messing up the flows of these matches so bad, mainly because it's on basically free television. So obviously NBC, they got to pay the bill, so they will hit you with a commercial break 1 minute into the match after you just came from a commercial break. That can kind of throw off the pacing of the match. But outside of that, I definitely enjoyed a lot of what happened on this show, and it has me excited for Money in the Bank, the upcoming Monday Night Raw, and SmackDown. So let's get right into the nitty gritty of some of the stuff that I really want to talk about on this show. And they started off the show with the tag team match between CM Punk and Sami Zayn versus Braun Breaker and Seth Rollins. Sammy started it off. They both all four men started off brawling with each other, and then Sammy started it off, and then they started working Sammy. Sammy's always a good person to like get good. I guess you can say get from what's the word I want to use? Underneath guy. They always have to fight underneath. It fits their character, and basically that's what it was. They were eliminating Sammy from actually being able to get to CM Punk. So it was always Sammy trying to find his way to get over to tag CM Punk, and once he finally did, CM Punk started going in at Seth Rollins, and this was actually a pretty fun tag team match. But we got to talk about how it ended. So looks like momentum is in the favor of CM Punk and Sami Zayn. So out of nowhere, someone jumps the barricade. You can't initially see who it is, and then when the camera angle switch, you see it's Bronson Reed, and he's running full speed at CM Punk, and he runs right through him through the barricade. So CM Punk had been taken out by Bronson Reed. You're trying to figure out what the hell's going on. Sami Zayn is left in the ring. He's trying to, deal with Paul Heyman and his shenanigans, and ultimately they are able to get the win. Sammy ends up getting pinned, and Bronson Reed gets into the ring, and it looks like he's about to square off with Braun Breaker, but then then Seth stops Braun Breaker from trying to square off with him, and he goes up and he hugs Bronson Reed, and Bronson Reed is now the third member in this new faction, helping Seth Rollins change the way wrestling is now. I don't know what they're gonna call this faction, but Bronson Reed is a new addition, which a lot of people speculated somebody was gonna be added, and I think this is the perfect addition to the faction. After that, CM Punk gets into the ring. He's grabbing at Bronson Reed. They get him back in the ring. Seth and Braun hold CM Punk down to the mat. Bronson Reed goes up top and hits a tsunami on CM Punk, packing him up. And this faction is looking very, very dangerous. They were already looking good. Now they look even more dangerous. Now, there are some people saying, well, this doesn't make sense because Bronson destroyed Seth Rollins not too long ago. Yes, this is very true, but also Seth Rollins did come back and did get his win on Bronson Reed, and I think the way they're going to probably explain why he's aligned himself with them, or why Seth is, or why Bronson has aligned himself with Seth and Braun, is going to be because of Paul Heyman. Think about it. Paul Heyman is someone that is good at being able to move pieces together. That is why I think that's going to be the reasoning, or one of the reasonings why Bronson Reed has decided to align himself with Seth, because of Paul Heyman's influence in what he probably has said to him, and maybe they've gained some mutual respect. Granted, I like this personally because it was really unfortunate that Bronson had got hurt in that War Games match last year. And I think it halted his momentum because he was in a main event spot. So I'm glad that they put him back in this main event limelight, which I do think he deserves. So this was really dope. And if you guys remember, CM Punk did recently make a jab at Bronson Reed, basically taking responsibility for Bronson Reed being injured in War Games. So this was great. Love this. That was a great way to start off the show. Very surprising. Now, the next match, I believe, was Zelena Vega versus Chelsea Green for the Women's United States Championship. This match, you could have had this on SmackDown, in my opinion. Honestly, the United States Championship hasn't really been it. I mean, to be honest, the Women's Mid Card Championship, even though I will say I will give the Women's Intercontinental Championship on Raw, it's been picking up with the feud between Lyra and Becky. I've enjoyed that aspect of it, but when it comes to the United States Championship, outside of Chelsea having it and, people loving Chelsea, I know they put it on Zelena. It's a great moment for Zelena, but I don't want to see Zelena and Chelsea fight no more. In fact, I think there's a stat that Chelsea has not beaten Zelena at all. I don't want to see it no more. I believe it looked like Chelsea may have ended up getting her nose broken in this match. I think Zelena did something, was trying to do a 619 or whatnot. So I'm wishing her a speedy recovery. I hope that's not the case. But she was bloodied at the end of the match. But Zelena did retain. Do I think this match should have been on the show? Probably not, because you could have given some other matches a little bit more time, in my opinion. But overall, I mean, like I said, it was the middle of the road. I wouldn't say it was garbage, but it was middle of the road, something you could have seen on SmackDown. But Zelena did retain. Next, I was not expecting this match to be so early in the show. We got John Cena versus R-Truth. John Cena comes out there to the usual boos and no one, Well, actually, it's weird. John Cena, when his music hit, it was a huge pop. And then when he was out there, the crowd was still, giving him love. It was a mix of boos. It was here and there. But when he first came out there, he got a huge pop. But then R-Truth comes out there to John Cena's music as well. He has his own merch styled like John Cena, and he's doing the same thing that John used to do. He had a huge pop as well, and he runs down to the ring and slides into the ring like John used to do. I thought that was hilarious. And then before I guess the match had already started, but R-Truth wasn't paying attention, and that's when John started attacking him. And for the most part, John was in control. He was getting a lot of good heel heat here. It's crazy. This is a thing. R-Truth was hitting John Cena's moves on John Cena. He hit him with the AA. He put him in the STF. He was trying his hardest to beat John Cena with his own moves. And then John, had enough of it, went to go pick up the WWE Championship, and ref's right there. It looks like he's about to hit him, but then he stops. And it looks like he's thinking like, this is not the right thing to do. So he's like, you know what? He gives the title back to the ref. Crowd's like, oh, wow, maybe R-Truth is getting to him. No, soon as the ref turns around, he hits R-Truth with the low blow, and that was pretty much it. The match was done after that. I was like, oh, okay. All right, cool. That was pretty much it. And then afterwards, he gets the title, and he walks on to the back. Now, I will say this, and I think I mentioned this in Discord. Was this a fun squash match, essentially? Yes, it was fun. The crowd was entertained by it. It had its funny moments, in my opinion. But when you really, really think about it, does this really make John Cena's retirement run that much better? Especially this heel run. Did it really do anything to add to it? Not really, to be honest with you. Me personally, I don't think it did. I think this is something you could have put on a Monday Night Raw, honestly. But Saturday Night Main Event is essentially a Monday Night Raw SmackDown mashup, if you would be honest, in a sense. But me personally, I don't think this has added much to John Cena's heel turn. Obviously, there's going to be some things that are going to happen down the line, which I think is going to help out. But this was just one of those. It was funny. It was cool, but I don't know. Me personally, when I'm thinking of his last run in the company, I don't know if this would have been something that I initially looked forward to. I know they have history, but that's just my personal opinion. Like I can understand why some people feel like this heel turn has been really lackluster, especially with some of the matches. Like most people, I'm sure, was not thinking R-Truth and John Cena are gonna have another match, and I didn't even know R-Truth was winning in their feud. I guess at the time, R-Truth was 2-1. Now they're tied up in record 2-2. So I don't know. Y'all let me know how y'all felt about the match. As overall, do you guys feel like it was a waste of time? I don't know. I have mixed feelings about it. So, but after that, Jay Uso's walking in the back. And John Cena sees him. And Jay's like, man, the last time I saw you, I threw your ass over the top rope. And then John, like, all right, oh yeah. Yeah, I remember that. And then John starts to talk about, how when I leave, it's going to be really ironic that the last champion here will be a YouTuber. He was basically insinuating that you're going to lose. And I'm going to leave as champion. All the lineage of WWE is going to be with me. He even kind of insulted his family. Like, man, it's crazy coming from a family lineage like yours. You're going to lose to Logan Paul, and then that's just going to be it. I'm going to leave wrestling with Logan Paul as the champion. I'm going to ruin wrestling that way, and you're going to be a part of that. But I'm going to be watching the match closely. So you can kind of get some indication that there was going to be some type of shenanigans involving John Cena. So next, we got to talk about the steel cage match between Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest. I enjoyed this match. This was really fun. A fun way to end off the feud. Before Damian could get in the cage, Drew was already attacking him. He threw 2 chairs in there, and then he closed the cage. And they had a nice, fun match. Nice back and forth. Crowd was into it. Anything that Drew touches, it literally turns into gold, in my opinion. And I know some people have felt like this feud has been overdone. Me personally, I don't think it has. I think this was a really good way to finalize it. So, towards the end, I want to say Drew ends up hitting the South of Heaven on Damian Priest. Damian Priest kicks out, and then Drew tries to go for the same spot he did at WrestleMania, where he put Damian Priest's head next to a chair that's propped up between the middle rope, and he goes for the Claymore kick, but he misses. That's when Damian capitalizes, uses the chair, and starts hitting him, and he ends up hitting him with the South of Heaven, I believe, but that wasn't it. That wasn't the way he wanted to end it. So he gets the chair, he puts his head under it. I was like, wait a minute, is he about to do what I think he's about to do? Damian Priest gets the other chair that's between the middle ropes, gets that chair, and he hits a vicious concerto to Drew McIntyre, and he killed him. Right then and there, Drew didn't move. He was done. Done. And Drew opens up the steel cage and walks on out. And Damian opens up the steel cage and walks on out. Damian packed up Drew McIntyre with a steel concerto, and that was it. That's all it wrote. I was not expecting the ending to be so abrupt like that, but I mean, hey, he got it back. He got it back on Drew McIntyre. He packed him up, and Drew didn't move. And they were sending out the paramedics in the stretcher, and they were touting that somebody's gonna walk away from this match, somebody else is not. And what they had with Drew is Drew started to come to after he was seeing double and triple vision from everybody. He started to move around. He started to get his bearings. He didn't want no one to help him out. He didn't want to get put on the stretcher. And he basically walked out on his own 2 feet. And I think That's how they wanted to kind of keep his character strong. Instead of him being carted out, he walked out still. But I do think this should have been the last match between these guys for a while. I think this feud is done with, and they can move on to separate things. But I was not expecting Damian Priest to send Drew McIntyre to the upper room for a little bit, and then he came back to life. So overall, I definitely did enjoy that steel cage match. It was fun. Like I said, Drew never misses. Damian Priest be doing some good stuff out there as well. Crowd was into it. Crazy abrupt finish, but I enjoyed it for what it was. And last but not least, we get to the main event with Logan Paul versus Jay Uso. I mean, they really only had we really only saw 7 minutes of the show, of this match. I'm gonna be honest with you. They started off with a commercial break before the match. Then when the match actually started, then they went back to commercial break, and then we only had 7 minutes left. So Logan Paul had ripped off the second turnbuckle covering, and Jay ended up running into it. And it was looking like a situation where Jay was potentially about to lose. And ultimately, I want to say Jay was, still fighting back. Jay was still in the mix, even though Logan was trying to cheat and, do his shenanigans. And it looked like Jay was about to win. At one point, he was able to counter. It looked like he was about to win. Ref goes 1, 2, and then you see the ref get pulled out. And who pulled the ref from counting to 3? John Cena. John Cena comes in there and he starts attacking. Logan Paul. Not Logan Paul. He starts attacking Jay Uso. Logan's just watching on in shock, what's going on. He's just attacking him, packing him up. And it's not looking too good for my boy Jay. Basically, this was all Cena's plan. He wanted to make sure that Logan was the one to potentially win. But out of nowhere, you hear Cody Rhodes music. Cody comes out there, huge pop. He runs out there. He ain't talking. He ain't walking. He runs full speed at the ring, and he gets in the ring and he starts attacking John Cena. He starts attacking John Cena. He's laying in the beats. John Cena ends up getting tossed out the ring. Then you see Logan Paul get the brass knucks. It looks like he's about to hit. Well, actually, no. Cody ends up hitting the crossroads on John Cena. He falls out the ring. Then it looks like Logan is going to hit Cody Rhodes with the brass knucks, but he doesn't. And that's when Jay Uso comes out there and hits Logan with the spear, and he rolls out the ring, and Cody gets the microphone. Cody picks up the mic, and he's basically like, look, man, you've already done enough. You've ruined enough for WWE. You ruined enough of wrestling. We're not doing this no more. He basically sets up a tag team match. Logan Paul, John Cena versus Jay Uso and Cody Rhodes at Money in the Bank, and it's official, most likely. So, and that's how the show ended off. I know there were some rumors that there was going to be maybe another person with John Cena, I think Travis Scott. I don't know how true that is. I don't know if they're going to add another person. I don't think they need to. Logan Paul being in John Cena's corner and Cody Rhodes being in Jay Uso's corner, I think that's more than enough. I think that works, and I'm very excited to see how this is going to play out at Money in the Bank. I'm really excited to see what Cody's going to have to say on SmackDown, because I do believe John Cena is going to be there on SmackDown, so I know Cody's most likely going to have something to say. But this was once again, wish they would have had more time for the actual match. They really didn't, but the ending was entertaining as hell. So comment down below. Let me know, did you guys enjoy the main event? Did you guys enjoy Saturday night's main event as a whole? And are you guys looking forward to Money in the Bank, Monday Night Raw, and SmackDown next week? Y'all let me know how y'all felt about the show in general. But I appreciate all the love, support. Road to 150K. Appreciate y'all kicking to me. See y'all next one. Peace.